shall we? Oh, I gotta make sure Streamlabs is up too so I can see the chat. All this good stuff. We're doing a complicated setup here today because we got custom portraits. All that. Okay, we're in. This is the first Deadfire stream. I started Deadfire last night. I've been playing for a couple hours. We were barely into the game. We just recruited our second party member. Really, it's the first one that, the first new one that we've met. Adair starts in your party. I don't know if that always happens or if that's because I went through all of the first game. I imported my save for Pillars 1, and we did not everything in Pillars 1, but we did all the main quest stuff, all of the DLC main quest stuff, a bunch of the side content. I didn't do all the NPC quests, but I did a good number of them. I did the main NPC quests for Adair, Eothas, Pallegina, and those are the three that carry over to this game. So those ones are going to matter a lot. I'm assuming that the other NPC quests are going to matter too, but I don't know like how much they're really going to play into the story. I guess we'll find out, because this game is going to be huge, I'm sure. And maybe those NPCs, those other NPCs from Pillars 1 will pop up in the DLC down the line. We will see. But that'll give us another excuse to play through Pillars 1 again and to play this game. But for now, we're going to learn Deadfire. So this game is really pretty. I really like the music and the sound design. It's a little buggy right now. Just from what I've noticed. It's not like terrible though. It's nothing that's egregious. Like there's some UI things that I think they should change. But overall, like this is a really solid release for a game of this size and complexity. Like Pillars 1 had some things that really needed fixing when it came out too. Like, and this has only been out for a week and they've already been changing things. So this is really great. And yeah, this is the new custom portrait that I got from Nikki Marjorie at Nikki Chu on Twitter and Instagram, and I think it's really great. I was really kind of disappointed in the choices for Moon Godlikes because they didn't add any new ones. They just imported the ones from the last game, and I was using this one, and I like this one a lot, but I was like, I want a new portrait for the new game. So I was looking around, and I just saw this on the list of like top Deadfire tweets, and it just showed up as the first result, and I thought it was awesome. And Nikki very graciously is letting me stream with this portrait. So Nick stayed up way too late finishing the first game just so he could stream Deadfire today. I wish I loved anything as much as he loved these games. Oh, that's not true. Cat loves a great many things as much as I love Deadfire. Kingdom Hearts. Now Cat will kill me for saying that. But, okay, let's do it.
Certainly.
So I have some DLC items, which is pretty cool. On Dare right now, we have a pirate hat, which comes with an eye patch. And we have this weird, it's a saber, but it's a torch. He holds it in his left hand like a torch, but it's actually a sword. It's really weird. Like, it says it's a saber one-handed, but it's in his offhand like a shield or something. So, that's weird. But it's good. It does a lot of damage. It does burn. It acts like a torch. Yeah, Adair is good. We just got Jody, and she is a priest of Gon, who is an aspect of Eothas. He's the like death aspect, like the darker aspect of Eothas. I haven't checked out her abilities yet, though, but she looks cool, and I like her character so far. She's kind of, she's a little like Emoen from Baldur's Gate, actually, in that she's kind of a trickster type character, but she's like darker in tone, not like skin tone. But Jody's sickle. I made her a monk because I'm already a priest, and she could have been a priest or a monk or a multi-class priest-monk. So I just went with the monk, since I didn't want two priests. I'm not going to dual class this time around, even though that's a thing that you can do for each character. Right off the bat, when you make your character or you get a new character, you can choose between two classes, or you can choose to dual class. But it says dual classing is not recommended for new players, so we're not going to try it, even though I think we could probably like figure it out. I think it's probably safer to just not do it right now. Maybe later on down the line, but we're not going to mess with it for now. And dual classing does come with some drawbacks. I don't know if it's like the OP way to play this game yet.
Yes, absolutely.
But it does lock you out of some late game abilities if you don't, or if you do dual class rather. But we are in the town of Port Maje, however you pronounce this, which looks really cool. I really like the rain effect here. Like off the bat, you can already tell that the lighting and the sound effects are way better in this game. I think the camera angle is a little slightly different than the last game too. I like it better actually. I don't know if it's actually the same engine that Tyranny and Pillars were in, because it definitely seems like highly updated and patched. If it is the same engine. Or a newer version of the same engine, I don't know. But, yeah, I'm just overwhelmed with choice right now because I don't know what we're going to do. I'm just playing with on Veteran. I don't have the advantage of having played through this game already like I did with Pillars 1. So, mechanically this game is pretty similar to the first game. We don't have to eat all the time anymore. We only ever actually eat when we rest, which is really nice. It seems like camping supplies are totally gone, which is great because I really don't like that mechanic. But this game is much more focused on ship travel, island hopping, doing pirate stuff. You can do pirate stuff anyways, but from what I've heard, you don't have to. The Kraken's Eye. So this looks like our tavern. Then we have Governor's Estate, we have a jail, market, and I went to Rinko's house already and got a side quest. So of course, classic Obsidian style, we already got side quests that are distracting us from the main quest. If we want.
No word from the Animancers?
And here's another one.
Not a thing.
It's another change. Pretty much every line of dialogue in this game is voice acted. Not these out here when we're outside of a conversation, but when we get in a conversation. Even some of the like narrative text by the unseen narrator is voice acted. I don't know the voice actress's name, but I really like her voice. I think that was a good choice. Because in Pillars of Eternity 1 and Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, the narrator was a male voice, so I'm glad they went with the female voice for this one. Okay. So we're not seeing the names of these guys. That's okay. We do if we mouse over them, though. Got some new... And I have sea shanties turned on, so... which is really funny. I think it's really funny that you can turn sea shanties off. Blind Man, hey, how's it going? My evening is great, because I get to play this game now. It's raining a lot here in Salt Lake City, but thank you for watching. Hope you're having a good night as well. Ooh, what's this? There is a Kraken's Eye. Looks like an Adra stone. Might be an Adra stone. This is so weird, I don't know anything about this game yet. We have to figure it out. Okay, so this guy's named, so we know that he's important.
Why doesn't Thorol call the guard?
Who? Darmo is babysitting, and the rest are scattered across town.
There must be someone.
Yeah, so I think the audio balance is just a little out of whack. So if you have everything at 100%, the music is really loud. And it's hard to hear the voices, so we're going to turn the music down to try and let the voice acting come through a little bit more. Where'd Thorol go? Let's talk to the barkeep.
Sorry, we haven't any rooms for you.
No rooms. See, this is a nice subversion, because normally when we get to an inn, we're like, obviously we're just going to stay here and rest, and this is the first inn in the game, and we come here and he's like, can't rest here. Sorry. It's raining where I live too. Thunderstorms. It hasn't... I like that though. It hasn't rained in Salt Lake City in a few weeks at least. It's been a while, and the weather's been all over the place because that's just how spring is here, unfortunately. But this is a custom portrait that I'm using that was made by Nikki Marjorie, and she was very gracious in letting me use it. And then my partner went and added this kind of portrait filter, or a parchment filter over this, so it kind of blends in with this more. But
Guessing you're the one came in off that
the base
ship
art
down
is all
south.
Nikki's.
Not sure
really
if that's good luck or bad, but here, I figure you deserve a drink.
Hey, thanks. What can you tell me?
Guess you haven't exactly seen the prettier side of the place since you landed, right? It's the only town on the island, if you don't count Sadahuzi, little Juana village out
Sadahuzi.
west.
And the Huana are this tribe of Almawa that we're going to have to go talk to.
Really is a decent place most days. Good trade, and plenty of money rolling in from Claudio's investors. Damn sight quieter than back home. But I don't have to tell you about the Deerwood. Ain't right doing business sober. I could fix that for you.
Let's see, let's make this a little taller if we can. Usually we can make these dialogue things taller. So I hope they add that back in. Yeah, we can't click this. Okay. And normally, like in the previous games, you've been able to scroll all the way through all the dialogue that you've been through, I think.
We're full up. You aren't the first outsider.
I like
to
this
turn
voice
up
actor.
looking for
Like,
a
some
place
of the
to
voice
stay
acting is
after
hit or
their
miss,
ride off
but-
the island ended up at the bottom of the sea. Well, tell you what. I've got one room or two have been cleared out by now. Only the occupants decided to outstay his welcome.
Okay.
Real trouble is, he hasn't settled his bill.
We gotta kick this guy out.
He's a merchant captain by the name of Galleon.
Callium.
I've given him a fair chance, but he's been a
Like a
right
ship.
prick about the whole thing.
So
I've
maybe
got a
we can
spare
recruit him.
key here. You chase him and his pals off, and the room's yours. At a discount.
You want him dead?
What? No! I said chase him off, not kill my patrons. Now I'm not so sure about asking you, honestly. I appreciate it, truly. I'll have someone tidy the place up for you once you're through. Chances are they've spilled ale just about
I wouldn't kill
everywhere.
him. I'm trying to play a pretty honest, like, benevolent character like in the first game.
I don't want the man dead, and that's not what I'm paying for. Just see him on his way and we'll call it done.
Hey, thanks.
I'm here at once.
Okay, we can do that. There's a little Orlon janitor here. Servant. The lighting effects are really nice. I really like the shadows. Here's our little pet. Is it a seagull? I think it's a seagull. Beakhead. While Beakhead is following you, you gain a bonus to intellect, and your party gains a bonus to the sleight of hand skill, which is pretty cool. And I like that pets now give you an AoE effect. Glad this voice acted, not a fan of small text. Yeah, it is kind of small, actually, and they did add one nice thing for this game. They let you increase the font size, actually. Let's bump that up to 130 and see what it looks like, actually, because I haven't tried this. This looks a little larger now. We can actually move this. This is better, actually. I mean, this is kind of like... This is a little overkill, but...
Still kicking, eh?
This is better,
What could it
right?
be?
Because it is a little small for me, too, you know, in my old age of 29.
What else? It was the glory of my fighting years. The beast pulled nearly 7 full crews into its belly before it was brought down. I was at the helm that day, and for that, my captain gifted me one of the beast's eyes, my proudest moment and my dearest treasure. I would not part with it for all the world. Mokeho? That'll be the Juana the poor fool got into a dust-up with, I expect. Yeah, I saw it. Made a real mess, they did. The two of them were having a game of cards, far as I could see. Guess things between them soured in a hurry. I kicked the Juana out, had a few men carry what was left of Rinko home.
Do you know who started?
Could have been anything.
This is part of the quest. I'm
Rinko
doing.
doesn't know when to quit talking, and some of those Juana are real serious types. As far as I'm concerned, we owe the Storm Speaker for keeping the town in one piece.
Storm Speaker.
Don't mean I'd invite her people over for tea.
The Storm Speaker is a special type of chanter found among the Juana Storm speakers are especially attuned to the forces of weather. Storm speakers traditionally serve tribes settling on unexplored or especially remote islands, offering protection during the period of transition. I wonder if we'll get to recruit a storm speaker. I think we do. That would be pretty cool. I like their special type of chanter.
Well, yeah. Think maybe Rinko wasn't expecting one of the Juana to know the game so well. He looked real nervous by the end.
Yeah, I think they added a lot of quality of life improvements to this game, and I'm sure they'll add more as it goes on and fix some of the bugs and just make the UI a little bit better. Definitely a big improvement over the first game, and yeah, so far like I'm barely 2 hours in, but seems really good. So soft recommend, I guess, at this point. There's reviews out there you can read already. We'll see. I'm expecting to like it a lot, obviously.
Well, no more than most. He's a hard man to like, let's say. Came here with the wife, an animancer, one of Odorisi's lot. The governor could tell you more there. Sure.
Okay.
Didn't think you had 2 copper pieces to rub together. But no offense.
I have some money. I have 573 pieces to rub together. Oh, it even upscales the text here, too. Nice. So there's a lot of food, salt. I don't know if food is going to be as OP as it was in the first game, because we only get to eat when we rest now. We don't get to like eat all the time to try and stack all those bonuses, which is nice. We can still recruit adventurers. That's nice. We can retrain for a pretty cheap cost, actually. That's nice. Only 250 gold to... I mean, we're only level 2, so I guess it's probably cheaper depending on the level. I don't know what this is. Morale. Measures the crew's overall attitude and sense of common purpose. Okay, so we have to watch our crew morale. We have to watch our food, water, medicine, ammunition, and repair. Wow, so there's a lot more stats to keep in mind just for the ship part, which is a totally new addition. And we can actually manage our party from here, which is cool. So I'm going to scale the text down to not that much smaller, but just a little bit. Let's try in between and see how that goes. Yeah, that's a little better. We'll try 115 for now. Which is a nice balance, I think. Really, again, I'm really glad they put that option in here. And we'll speed things up. Again, your base character move speed is slow. But we have the same speed up and slow down options that they had before. Thank you guys for liking and retweeting on Twitter. That is super helpful. So we're on the second floor.
How does it work?
You inhale. Welcome, I.
He's teaching him how to smoke.
Do you wish to partake?
Amika. I like that they use all these Valian terms that we only heard from Palagina in the first game, really. Do you wish to partake? Of what?
Ripple sponge, of course.
Oh, he's got Ripple Sponge.
An expensive vice, but worthwhile.
I think we heard about Ripple Sponge in the first game. I think that was the thing. Let's try it.
An adventuresome lass. And so, here you are.
Oh, we got some.
Enjoy.
3 perception, 3 resolve, 3 intellect for 180 seconds. Does it have a crash again, or no? Nope, there's a lot of drugs in this game. Made from the sponges found along the rocky coast of Rawatai. It's often ground finely and inhaled. It is often used on long sea voyages, for it has a soothing, calming effect which helps in tackling extended periods of strenuous activity. Nice. That is locked. We don't have a really good mechanics character yet, which is maybe a mistake, but I think I'm gonna keep training Adair in mechanics because I gave him 1 point already. And Jody does not have mechanics either.
Ah, a new face. You've heard, of course, that Norgund remains the most reliable
I like
and
this guy.
discreet supplier of mostly legitimate wares?
If you haven't heard, there's also the option to use the voices of the Critical Role actors for this game as well. That's a free DLC that they added. So for any of your main characters, you can, or for your main character, you can use any of the voices of the characters from Critical Role, which is pretty cool. And all of the voice actors are in this game anyway, voicing different characters. Like Matt Mercer is Adair, and Eothas. I don't know who exactly the other people are in this game
Are
yet.
you looking for something in particular?
Which may or may not mean anything to you if you don't, if you're not interested in Critical Role. But those guys are good voice actors anyway, and you've heard them in, tons of games already, even if you don't, if you haven't realized it.
I am an honest merchant, madam, but I confess that the tools I supply have an unjustly sinister reputation. How my clients decide to use these items is not my responsibility, after all.
Ooh, we got lockpicks. Nice. We should buy... Well, it's probably not worth 250. But we will buy some lockpicks. Let's buy 4 lockpicks. Do we have anything good to sell? Actually, we've been getting a lot of loot so far. Thief's Putty. Plus 2 mechanics, plus 2 sleight of hand, plus 2 stealth. Okay. So let's sell some things so we can buy that. Sell one of these. And these. Can we look at... No, let's not leave. I want the Thief's Putty for sure. Maybe we'll just buy that, because I think I have lockpicks already. Stash. Yeah, I have 8 lockpicks already. So we'll just buy the Thief's Putty, I think. I think that's pretty good. Scorching Venom. Because then we don't need mechanics. And I'm glad they put that in the game. We can only buy 1, though. Maybe it's not worth using all our money on. Cinder Bombs. More drugs. Drugs are good. Spices. Exotic blend of flavorful seeds and powders. So crafting is back. And if we had a, I'm guessing if we had like a favorable disposition or unfavorable disposition with the vendor, then we would get a discount of some kind. Should we buy the Thief's Putty? Sure. Let's do it. Let's be adventurous. And she has, right now, Vestments of Gone. And she's a Priest of Gone. Just like in the first game, the armor slot and the head slot determine what your character looks like, and then we can change our colors again. Adair is green and black. I'm like this light purple and magenta. So we're not going to try and steal from this guy. It seems like a bad idea. We can go talk to Galleon.
More drinks.
Saving is a lot faster in this game too. Even if you just hit quick save, it's like basically instant. Whereas in the first game, it would kind of load a little bit, which is a small change, but you save a lot in this game. So.
Thought I'd locked that thing.
Glassy-eyed gentleman before you bears the miserable expression of the recently sober. He also smells like he's been pickling in a cask for a few days.
Blazes. I was going to say you wandered into the wrong room, but by the look of things, it runs in the family.
So I like that it tells you like where these responses are coming from. It doesn't just tell you like why you have certain options, but it also tells you why the NPCs are responding in this way. And in this particular case, he's talking at me in this way because I'm a godlike. I'm a moon godlike.
Try not to slam the door on your way out, yeah? My head's going to pieces. No, that's not nice. Things were real comfortable up until you turned up.
I like how the seagull moves around. He nudges an empty bottle with a boot.
Did Thorol put you up to this?
He really did.
You really want to get your teeth kicked in on his behalf? Get out of here before you regret it.
I definitely don't want to fight him. You can leave on your feet or get dragged out by the ankles. Your choice. which is from Intimidate, Aggressive. I could settle your tab.
The governor's got all his guards on high alert, staving off the pirates. So if anyone's going to be doing the throwing, it's going to have to be you. How about it, mate?
Feeling better about yourself. I don't want to fight him. I could just stab him in the arm. Something in your expression squelches his confidence in a hurry. He scratches nervously at his beard. Yeah, I went for high resolve because resolve usually lets you get through conversations without fighting. That's what I've noticed. And that wasn't the same in the first game, too.
All right. Just...
It's also really good for priests. But
we're leaving. Thorol wants us out on the streets so bad, so be it.
nice.
You serious, Galleon? Where are we supposed to go?
It seems like you can talk your way through a lot of conversations in this game, too. Or, confrontations. Which is nice. It seemed like we had, like, generally more options than we would in Pillars 1 a lot of the time, too. We got some blood moss, which is another crafting ingredient. Not too much in here. And some palm salts. Is that what it was?
What can I do?
Keep
at
reading
once?
that incorrectly. But now we can take that room. Take his rum. There's still a lot of us stranded on this damn island. Well, we are trying to fix our ship so we can leave this island. Who knows how long that'll take if we do all these little side quests, but it's a good time so far. Let's get our reward from Thorol.
Still kicking, eh? What'll it be?
I cleared out the room for you.
Hey, good work. Times like these, I can't afford to keep on anyone who can't pay their tab. The second word got around, I'd have every pauper in the city on my doorstep. The room's yours if you want it. And for a job well done, here's your pay.
Hey, sets a damp leather coin pouch on the counter. We got 1,200 copper. That's really good. Nice. Completed. The Better Man.
What can I... Certainly.
And all the quest and journal stuff works pretty much the same as it did in the first game, too. So now
Still
we can
kicking,
rest.
eh? What'll it be?
Anyone looking to make some coin?
Folks come by here all the time hunting for work. Let's see who we can scrounge up.
So he just shows you the adventurer screen
Still
again.
kicking, eh? What'll it be?
And I'm not gonna hire, or I'm not gonna recruit any like generic adventurers right now.
Not much point to that without a ship. Come by when you've got work
Okay.
to offer and we'll figure something out. Sure thing.
Let's get a room. This is pretty cheap. Diplomacy, intimidate, bluff. Yes, skipper's stay. Oh, this is the same resting screen from the first game too. It's just up-resed. I like it. Just graphically, this game is so much better. And like, it doesn't... Like, I think it looks like pretty on par with Divinity as well. Like, I think Divinity probably like objectively looks a little better, but I like this art style better than just like the hyper realistic stuff in Divinity. This is more like a little more stylized,
Fresh Race you to the coral.
No contest.
and I like that this is all the same perspective. Like, we're not able to rotate, so they didn't have to worry about making it look good from every angle, just like one angle, which I think is a better design for this kind of game.
What? Just because you have webbed fingers and I can't swim?
You are a strange man.
Again, not all the
Many
voice acting is
fishes
amazing, but
trade.
it's fine.
Caught 'em myself.
She caught some fish, cuttlefish. Should buy some food for the crew, right? +1 resolve is good. Let's buy some fish. Fire kelp. +1 might. Since we got all that money. Silver fin, cuttlefish. We have a hat. I should give a hat to somebody. So the first game, yeah, we did have personal inventories in the first game. I really like the Divinity games too. At least I've played a lot more of 2 than 1, but I haven't finished either of them. I think this game, like this game and Pillars of Eternity 1, are a lot stronger narratively, but Divinity is definitely like more interesting from a combat perspective, or like at least more like well balanced. Hagfish. So everybody again has a personal inventory as well as party stash. In the first game, we could see everybody's personal inventory at the same time because it was all in a line here, and now we have to switch between characters, which I don't know if I like as well. I liked being, like in the first game you had to open the party stash separately, but you could see everybody's personal inventory at the same time. So it's kind of a trade-off there. Where like maybe they figured most of the time you want to see your party stash anyway. I don't know. It's like a small thing. Does this hood do anything for her? Because now we have to go back here. Oh, that looks cool. She can take the hat. Again, godlikes can't wear hats because they have this, all godlikes have this effect on their heads. It doesn't always look like this. Like, death godlikes look vastly different than moon godlikes, and they all look different than fire godlikes, and the other one is earth godlikes, I think, but they all have some effect on their heads. We also have this pig named Cosmo that can follow us around, who was also in the first game. Gives us +1 Constitution, but Beakhead gives us +1 Intellect and Sleight of Hand. Oh, and your party is more effective while healing spells and potions. So, like, they're good for different reasons.
Absolutely.
Bear spell. Just another crafting material. Where are the pirate hunters? Well, we're here now. Did you create your party? So I carried over my main character, who is Selena, my moon godlike priest from the first game, because I just finished the first game last night, or at least I did as much as I wanted to. I didn't finish like every side quest, but I did all the main quests and all the DLC quests, at least like the main stories and a bunch of the side quests. So I carried over my moon godlike. Adair is a NPC from the first game as well. He's the fighter, and he's voiced by Matt Mercer. And he joins you right off the bat at the beginning, at the very beginning of the story. And then Jody, I just met in this town, and she can be either a monk or a priest, or you can dual class in this game, which is cool. Which wasn't in the first game. And I'm not dual classing with anybody right now because it's not recommended for new players. But when you pick up a dare, you can dual class with either fighter or thief, or he can be a fighter or a thief. So I went with fighter again. And Jody can be a monk or a priest, or she can dual class monk priest. So I haven't made any other custom characters yet, besides Selena. And I don't think we'll need to, but if we get into a tight spot and we haven't found any other of the voiced NPCs, we may have to make some of our own. But generally I like to keep like the main story people in the party, just so we get more of that content. But you can totally play the game with just your own custom characters if you want to.
Ado,
Which I think is a good
begging your
option.
pardon for the mess, miss. We are still recovering from the storm. We have supplies here for the paying customer. Provisions for the road, perhaps? Have a look.
Sure. Repair supplies. Sorry, that's my Razor Chroma for like the past month and a half maybe has had this double click problem where it'll do it twice, and I think I need to like open it up and tighten it up a little bit, but I just haven't gotten around to doing that. And I think I'm gonna order a new mouse because that problem is really annoying. And I've only had it for like not even maybe a year, maybe a little longer than a year. I don't think it's even been a year, so just is kind of disappointing, because this is supposed to be like the best mouse ever, or whatever. A lot of people say it's really good anyway. Repair supplies. So we'll need this for the ship. So this is interesting that we have to think about repairing the ship as well. This is all is infinite supply. Death's Maw is a helmet, grants death runes. Being near a killed enemy grants temporary damage reduction. That's good. Of course, we have all this lore for every item. Strange tablet. This looks like a quest item, so we're gonna buy it. Ring of Minor Deflection is good. Battle-worn Grimoire. Grimoires hold all the spells for wizards in this series, and if a wizard picks up a new grimoire and the new one doesn't have, and the new one has spells that the wizard doesn't know, then they can learn the spells from the new grimoire and add it to their own grimoire, which is really cool. So in that way, you can kind of customize your grimoires for different situations, and you can have several that you want to change out. We don't have a wizard in the party yet, but after we find Eothas, then we will. I don't know if I'm going to buy this yet. It has like, a lot of good spells, actually. Does it come with all of these spells? It's kind of nuts. Maybe we should buy this just to have it. I don't know why there isn't an icon here. Seems like an empty UI thing. Antidote, immunity to poison. Maybe there's a lot more poison in this game. There wasn't that much in the first game. Cannon shot. So right now we don't have any ammo. I think that's why they gave us so much money for that quest, so we could buy all these supplies for the ship. Because we're gonna need them if we do a lot of pirate fighting and stuff. So let's buy some things. Let's buy like 5. Medical supplies. Repair. Water. We have some hardtack already. I'm assuming we need water. Yeah, that's even its own stat because we can't drink the ocean water, right? Thirsty crew loses morale, and if they suffer 3 days without a drink, their chance of dying increases significantly. So yeah, we got to keep them well quenched and well fed. So a lot more to think about inventory-wise in this game, which I like. We'll buy all that stuff. Now at least we have some supplies. I don't know how many cannonballs we want. I feel like we want more. I don't know. Our ship doesn't even work yet, so.
A spy, no doubt about it.
Quite the dramatic entrance for a spy.
Royal Deadfire Company works with all types.
On a Deerwood ship,
Found a pickaxe, which
they
is
don't
good.
have the imagination.
We can check out the jail. I think we had a quest for the jail. Jody is chasing Eothas. So the main story of this game is that at the end of the first game, so you have this stronghold called Cadnua, which is this castle where you live, and you have a bunch of people that really like you and stuff. And beneath the stronghold is this giant statue made out of Adra, which is the material that the Pillars of Eternity are made out of. These like magic pillars that can transfer soul energy and stuff. And the statue becomes inhabited with the spirit of Eothas, who's this dead god that my character worships and Adair worships. And he's the god of light, and he was killed before the first game, and that's what like sparked the events of the first game. Eothas was killed, and that started the Hullborn crisis, which led like some babies to be born without souls, basically. And we fixed that in the first game by stopping Theos, who was the main villain, and then those souls got spread out. I chose to send those souls out back to the bodies that they originally were intended for, but you had other choices too. So Eothas inhabits this giant Adra statue, and it bursts through the stronghold of Cadnua and destroys tons of people. I think it kills like 300 or some people, is what the steward told me. And now we're chasing Eothas through the Deadfire archipelago. And we don't really know what his motives are or where he's going yet. We're just chasing him. We have to fix our boat because we got caught in the storm and we got shipwrecked. So that's kind of where we are now to set up this game. And premise-wise, it seems like a little weaker than the first game, and in the reviews that I've seen so far, they've said that this game, the main story overall, is weaker than the side quest stuff. But I don't think that's going to bother me too much. So Jodie is chasing Eothas through the Deadfire while striving to fulfill her purpose to Gon, who is an aspect of Eothas. So that's why she's teamed up with me. Burning bridges. This is another thing we have to do with the Hawana tribe. Yeah, we lost track of Eothas in the storm, but he seemed to be heading inland when we crashed. And now we're stranded. We still have to go talk to Governor Clario. We can actually sort by difficulty now. Wow. Recently updated. That was not an option before. So this quest has the 3 skulls on it, which means it's harder, I guess. That was not a thing before. They didn't used to have quest difficulty, so I really like that they added that. Because this game, I mean, the first game was sort of like an open world, but this is like very much open world type thing. And you can turn scaling on if you want to, but I chose not to have it on. So some areas on the map, if we go to them, we're just going to get destroyed. So this is nice that they're kind of keying us in here with this quest. It's like, we probably shouldn't do this quest right now. Classic location. Okay, so now we can organize it by where these quests actually take place, which I think I like better than Classic. Classic tells us like which are main quests and which are side quests, and then location tells us where we want to be. So I think we'll do location for now. I like all these new options. They're really nice. Let's check out the jail. And I know this is going kind of slow right now because I'm still figuring out the game and the mechanics. The new stuff.
Nothing without more guards.
Majicho. This is Savia.
Yes? What is it I can do for you?
The watch commander looks up at you after her listless greeting, and you notice that she has a dark bruise around one eye. She grimaces but does not turn away. I don't see many guards here.
We are stretched thin. The storm speaker did much to help, but much of the town has flooded. Now we are awash in homeless citizens and stranded merchants, to say nothing of the cultists out there.
Expression flat but keeps silent.
Now I have Ilari's people making trouble up on Gorechi Street. His little gang is looting everything they can get their hands on, and the Bozzo kicks up his heels like a prince.
Bozzo, a Valian term for the penis in a pejorative sense. So it kind of sounds like bozo, but it means your dick. So, okay.
Lucky
Bozzo.
for you that I'm around. I humbly offer my services. Let me out and I will bring you this Ilari's teeth.
Shut it, Rigere. Something you wanted? Kue, I cannot say it would not be welcome, but you are only recently arrived, and not I here by choice.
So if we
Why
were
do this?
a gold pack knight, we could say that option. Eothas is responsible for all of this. I lost a lot of the storm myself.
I wish more felt as you do. I might get a full night's rest. Gorechi Street is in the western part of town. Just walk until you hit water. We don't need a bloodbath. I'm sure there's a peaceful solution to resolve this. I'd appreciate your looking for it.
Yeah, so they're really encouraging us to seek, like she says, peaceful solutions to these encounters. Like when we talked to the barkeep, and we were like, "Do you want us to kill him?" And he was like, "No, I just want you to kick him out. You don't need to fight. Like, we're not barbarians." So I like that change, because previous games in this genre are often like very combat focused. Even Pillars of Eternity 1, you have to have pretty high stats to be able to talk your way through things. So I think it seems like they balance things a little bit more in favor of you being able to talk your way through if that's what you want to do. Which I think is better, because I mean, I like the combat, but I'm not like super invested in killing every character in the game. That's not why I'm here.
We lost no one to the storm, but many homes have been damaged, and the people are terrified of this giant the scouts reported. It is
Eothas.
chaos, pure and simple. but things might have been far worse.
What happened?
What happened? I showed the drunken fool more patience and respect than he deserved, and he struck me without warning.
Sientere, Savia. You know that I was aiming for Darmo's pretty face.
Okay, this is a choice here that I read about. So we could either do what she wants, or we could kill her, take her key, and free this guy and get him on our boat. Which is what a very evil person would do. And is not what I'm going to have my character do, but just the fact that that's an option I think is really cool. And it's not like a quest that we got. Like, it's not in our book anywhere. It doesn't say, like, kill the prisoner, or kill the jailer and free the prisoner. That's not in here, but it's something that we can do. So I like that kind of immersive effect.
Of course.
You can take a cap. So she wants us to go to Gorechi Street, which is probably what we're going to do now. Or we could go... Actually, let's go speak to the governor first. So I think that's part of the main quest. All the ambient sounds are nice. So we're going to go to the governor's estate. I think that'll be everything that we can do in this map so far. I wonder if the dukes regret their investments here.
Indeed.
And these are the same dukes that Palagina was involved with back in Defiance Bay. So I think that's why they chose to carry over to this game specifically, or at least for this first part that's not, you know, one of the DLCs, because Palagina is a Valian. And we first met her at it in the port of Defiance Bay. So she probably knows this area of the world better than any of the other NPCs from the first game. The recruitable ones, I mean. Okay. Looks kind of dark in here. Seems like there's like fog of war generally everywhere in these maps, which I don't know if I'm a fan of. I don't know if that was true in the first game. I'm trying to remember now. I think it was, but... Found some rice wine. Seem to have a lot of food already. Feels like it anyway. Let's not steal though. We're gonna be pretty like a goody two-shoes considering we're a priest of Eothas. My hands are occupied, I have no time to worry. You can take some roe and an egg. Nice. Fish eggs and a chicken egg. I should have taken the Bardado job. This painting of a wooded glade is signed Luisa Clario, so maybe that's his wife? The governor's wife, I mean?
Well, that's not nice.
Let's close this door and steal this. I am still gonna steal stuff when I can get away with it. So we could
Alright, but I'm
use our what was it called? Our thief's putty to open this chest. So let's try that and see what it is. And we'll quick save. So we use... What is this? Empower. 1 per encounter. Empower yourself to refill half of your expended resources, or empower a spell or ability to grant a large power level boost. Empower may only be used on each character once per encounter and are restored on rest. So everybody has this empower ability, which is sort of like Second Wind. Everybody has a Second Wind though as well, as long as they have athletics. And everyone in my party has this.
What do you need?
Has the athletics skill right now. So this is a new ability that everybody can use once per encounter. I like that. These are our first level spells. We don't have nearly as many in the first game as in the first game, which is nice. Because in the first game it was really easy to get overwhelmed with all the choices. Spells. And I'm sure we'll get access to a lot more as we go. But yeah, so quick save. We can kind of hear some ambient voices in the background too. It's really cool. So we used our thief's putty. Now we can open this with a lockpick.
It's not nice. All done.
And we can steal hide armor, a potion, and some money. Copper pears. Okay. Cool. I think that was worth it. And we got some experience for that as well. So, yeah. Now we're back up to 513.
Don't see why not.
Quietly now.
Oh, this is another really cool thing. So when we're sneaking now, it actually shows where the characters are facing. In the last game, it did not show that, and it also shows like their vision radius. So as long as we're not in this circle, then we're okay, or in this cone. So that's a good improvement as well. Clario awaits you inside. Is there anything we can take freely? We can try to see what's in here. If we pick this lock, I don't know.
Nice.
Let's quick save first.
It's not nice. Guess that wasn't so hard.
Of course.
We're not going to steal it, but at least we got the experience for opening the chest. Merla, it's hot in this thing.
Ah, yes, there you are. As governor and under the auspices of the Valiant Trading Company, please allow me to officially welcome you to Port Maje.
Maje.
I'd like to say the pleasure's all mine, but I try not to lie. Don't worry. I'm only here on account of her.
I think Maje... I think that's the first time somebody's actually pronounced the name of this town so far, so it's good to know how to pronounce it.
Of course. I see you've been as quick to involve yourself as ever.
Clario's tone is polite, but there is a strained edge to his wide smile as he turns from Jody to address you.
Quite the event. Receiving one of the godlike in our little town. Perhaps it will take the people's minds off recent events.
Yeah, because godlike are pretty rare in this, even in Eora, like the greater world of Eora, which is the name of the world that we're in. Did my stream just die? Okay. Streamlabs freaked out for a second. I'm okay. So it's nice that everybody's taking notice that I'm a godlike.
Apologies for that little drama outside. These are confusing times, and people often react poorly. Between the storm, the pirates, and the, well, certain strange events, we are all a little on edge.
This music sounds a little like The Secret of Mana, like exploration music. Justin Bell, he takes a lot of influences from other composers, and it's really, I can really hear it like in his melodies. From like old American folk music especially, I hear a lot of that, and this sounds a lot like, just that little flute flourish sounds a lot like The Secret of Mana. That Secret of Mana track that I don't know the name of, but it's always fun to pick those out. I'm on an important mission. I need to leave the island as quickly as possible. Strange events?
A few, well, quite a few people here in Port Maje claim to have seen a giant of some kind during the storm.
And that's Eothas, of course.
I would call it a flight of fancy, but unless something has tainted every well in the region, I do not think it can be ignored. But then, the Deadfire is a land full of such things. You must have heard the stories.
Stories? That wasn't just a giant, that was Eothas. Governor Maje, a voiceless awe of understanding, and studies you for a moment.
You'll find good company among the Dawn Stars here in town. They have all manner of theories concerning the behemoth.
So it doesn't seem like he believes this, but he's referencing the worshippers outside that Jody was a part of before she joined us, the Dawn Stars.
Now, to the matter of your ship. You're stranded, are you? It was a rough landing by all reports. Unfortunately, our own ships are in no condition to sail. We've had dealings with the pirates ourselves. They've taken their share of supply ships. The storm saw to those berthed in the harbor. All that said, I believe I may have a solution, provided you're willing to help me in turn.
I'm the Lady of Cadnua. Couldn't I just owe you a favor? Which is funny. I wonder how much clout being the steward of Cadnua really has in this part of the world, because like we're pretty far away from the mainland, I think, the Deerwood. But we're not going to use that option anyway, because it seems kind of a dickish thing to do. What could I do for you? I just got here. Diplomatic. Things are falling apart and you need me to save you.
Marvelous. You've washed ashore like a sign from the gods themselves.
Pretty much, because Bareth, the god of life and death, like the cycle of life and death, is the one that is the god that plucked our soul out of the Beyond, is what it's called, which is like purgatory / heaven / hell in this game. Plucked us out of the Beyond and put us back in the wheel of time, and was like, the wheel is turning again and we need you to do stuff again. So for a while, I don't remember exactly how long we were, I think since Eothas escaped or inhabited the statue or whatever. Since then, we were in kind of a coma.
I have the guards on the lookout for pirate vessels looking to take advantage of whatever damage the storm caused. We've cannons enough to see them off, but I need every man ready to use them.
Need every man.
There is a site of some considerable value elsewhere on the island. A value to the trading company, you understand. In point of fact, it's the very reason any of us are here. You're familiar with the luminous Adra trade.
Oh, so this sounds like maybe a black market Adra trading thing. I know that luminous Adra is supposed to house more concentrated essence, so it's stronger than regular Adra. It's native to the Deadfire.
Are you indeed? How very interesting.
So again, it seems like he's starting to believe us a little more, but I don't know how much he really thinks that we're actually a Watcher.
Do you know, they'd have a great deal of interest in speaking with you at headquarters. Something to consider.
It's true.
Well, luminous Adra is to Adra what a fine wine is to... well, never mind that. The point is that it is a particularly potent material, suffused with essence, and it is only found right here in the Deadfire archipelago.
Yeah, because this wasn't in the first game, this luminous Adra stuff.
It's also quite valuable. When refined, it sells for considerable sums. The trading company has invested a lot of time and money into locating sites suitable for mining and processing.
Yeah, that do-dee-do-dee-doo, I think that's like straight out of Secret of Mana. I'm pretty sure. I have to listen to it again, but it sounds like very similar. And that's probably like an intentional direct quote from that song. I kind of want to listen to it right now, but I'll check it out later. So I also want to point out that these games are often about materials and the trade of materials because, and I don't know this much about medieval history, but like obviously it's extremely important. Like in Baldur's Gate 1, the big crisis is the iron crisis, where the iron is like cursed or rotten, like it breaks much faster than normal, so you have to solve that mystery early on in the game and go to an iron mine and fight your way through a lot of kobolds in an iron mine. And in Pillars of Eternity 1, it wasn't so much about materials as it was about solving the mystery of the Hollowborn crisis. But here it seems like we're talking more about this luminous Adra, which is special to this area, so that makes sense. And it makes sense that this is kind of a more Mediterranean area that's more diverse and more about trade and merchants and exploration than like agriculture or other kinds of like medieval businesses. So that's in keeping with the setting, I think, and like the themes of the setting. You mean you're trading in souls?
That's a colorful way of putting
sort of.
it. Energy, really, is more apt. It's not quite a matter of digging up the spirit of your old grandmother.
Although we certainly could do that.
Spin it however you like. The gods are gonna grind your soul to bits for this sin.
Yeah, because souls are, like, part of Adra, I think, is how it works.
We will have to agree to disagree. We, and I hope you understand that these matters require some discretion, have one such outpost on the other side of the island. A successful venture, up until very recently. We sought to improve the refinement process. To that end, we hired some of the brightest minds in the field of animancy and brought them out here to lend their expertise.
And animancy is the science of soul manipulation. It's a field both controversial and relatively new, banned in some nations like Adir, but permitted in other countries like Deerwood and the Valian Republics. And animancy was like a big... There's a big controversy about animancy in the first game, and a lot of people thought that animancers were the cause of the Hollowborn crisis, and that's what Theos and the Leaden Key were trying to make people believe, so they could get animancy banned for good. Even though it was the Leaden Key and Theos behind everything, they wanted people to believe that animancy was this evil thing that was causing all these problems.
And then one evening, a storm rolls in out of nowhere, and my scouts begin to report that a giant has marched its way across the island towards my dig site. What am I to make of that? We haven't heard from Mestre Odorisi since, nor any of his assistants, or the workers. I must know what has happened. If Odorisi, if his work is lost, then everything that we have worked for is at risk.
Master Odorisi. I don't think we've heard that name
Which
yet.
is where you come in. You need a ship, I need information.
Okay. See
to this for me, and I'll set half the town to work. We'll patch up your ship, and you'll be free to go on your way.
Do you have any idea what might have happened if I find this Odorisi?
Why, take his report on the situation and remind him that he's under certain contractual obligations. And relay my deep relief at his good health, of course.
Yeah, I don't know if I like this guy very much. He seems kind of out for himself and out for the state, and not really concerned with matters of animancy or the Dawn Stars. So we may try to betray this guy. Do you have any idea what might have happened?
I told you what happened, but you wouldn't listen to me. We could have prepared for this level of
priestess
destruction.
with prophetic dreams.
But what?
I see.
The Huana storm speakers should have kept the worst of the weather at bay. I can't imagine what else might have happened. There are wild beasts on the island, but they wouldn't have attacked an active dig site.
Eothas is out there stomping across the island, and you're worried about some research?
Well, if Eothas happens to strike down the council, perhaps then I will have time to spare for him.
So Jody likes that?
Please do not repeat that. We each have our debt. Whatever you believe is going on, you can see it for yourself. That is precisely what I want.
Okay, fine if it gets me off this island.
Gilard, then we are agreed. I will assign men to keep watch over your ship. You will find the dig site on the eastern side of the island. I'll mark it on your map here.
And I like all these Valian expressions that they include, and they always include the definitions as well. But in the first game, I think it was pretty much only Pallegina that would use those phrases.
You'll do it for the Watcher, but not for me? I see how it is.
So they've really expanded on that.
Yes. Why wouldn't I want a pack of Dawn Stars crawling over my Adra mine in search of their lost deity? One more thing.
Did we gain a
level? If you
level?
should recover Odorisi's notes, know that they would be of great value to me.
Yeah, we did, actually. Wow, that was fast. We gained a lot of experience there. So it feels like we're getting levels faster than in the first game so far. So now our quest is to go to the dig site, which sounds kind of like a dungeon. But let's level up first. Here's our level up screen. Every level we get an active skill point and a passive skill point. So this is different than the first game, because in the first game we couldn't really level up that many skills at once. We had to pick pretty much 1 or 2 every level, and we got like a different amount of skill points every level, and here we're just getting 1 every level, and we get to pick 2 at the... We at least get to pick 2 instead of only 1. A lot of the time in the first game too, it would be a good idea to not spend all your skill points for 1 level and just save them up for the next level, but that didn't always like feel very good because you always left skill points on the table, and you had to wait so long between levels that you would have to, like, say if I wanted to get to like a really high mechanics, I may not even get enough skill points from 1 level to be able to increase my stat high enough, so I would have to wait a whole other level before I could do that. So I think they streamlined it a little bit. I appreciate that. So we're not going to go for mechanics for Selena because we're just going to keep Adair in the party forever. And we already... Also, it shows us how much like combined skill we have for this skill in this box here. So you can see combined in the party we have 1 for the self plus 3 for the party, because Adair has 2 athletics and Jody has 3 already. So we're already really good at athletics as a party. So we want to look at stats that we're kind of lacking in right now with other party members and go for those with Selena. So like Arcana is probably good. Combat can be used to increase the power level of scrolls. Adair has explosives and mechanics. We have some sleight of hand experts already. Stealth is always good. I do really like athletics. And I went for the 1 point of athletics just so we could have the second wind ability. But I don't know if we're going to continue to level that up. Another thing in this game is that you can change the pose of your character. It's kind of subtle right now, but you can see Selena's kind of in this heroic pose with her chest out and her arms back like this. And there's other poses, like you can be like really hunched over like an evil like lich, or you can be more relaxed, or just like default, just like straight. And I like that they included those. You can have like your arms crossed like this, which I had at first, but it seemed kind of like too unnatural. Like nobody walks around entirely like this all the time. I think we're gonna go for Arcana. Yeah, that seems good. When we find Eothas, I'm sure he's gonna have a pretty high Arcana already, but whatever. If we find some more scrolls, this will be useful. And we don't have like that many abilities to use in combat yet, so scrolls are really good. Passive skills. We have bluff. We have diplomacy. We have a lot of diplomacy already, which is good. History I like. Insight. I'm going for insight with Adair, Jody. We have a lot of intimidate. Metaphysics. Jody, of course, knows a lot about metaphysics, being a priest/monk person. We have a lot of religion. Adair is very religious too. He doesn't like... I mean, he talks about it sometimes, but you might not think so because he's kind of like a more roguish type character, but he's also like deeply devoted to Eothas, which I think is cool. Streetwise, we have some already. Survival. It's kind of a tough choice. We might just go for more diplomacy or history. Nobody else has history, so I think we'll go for that with Selena. Yeah. I kind of like my characters like this knowledgeable religious priest following this once dead god and being like really benevolent. And you know, has like sort of a sense of humor, but is usually like kind of like the person that shows up and is like, okay guys, stop fighting. We gotta figure this out calmly. I like being that character in this game. Which is kind of the character I've developed since the first game. It's not really something I set out to roleplay, but it's what I find myself doing now. Just kind of like more paladin-y too. But so now we get to pick two abilities from this ability tree. On the first level, we only got to pick one. So these are all the choices, and the ones with the blue outlines are ones that we have already. Passive abilities so far don't seem that interesting, and that was true of the first game as well. Weapon and shield. I don't know if I want to pigeonhole myself into one of these quite yet. Although I do have a mace. So we could go for two-handed. Pillar of Faith is back from the first game. Almost all of these spells are from the first game. I think this is a new one. Divine weapon specific to your deity. So we would get a flail. Because we worship Eothas. 10 to 14 damage, arcing blows, and it scales. Plus 50% damage dealt as burn, so that's good. I think we want to go for more utility spells, though. We unlocked Withdraw, which is... I think that was normally a wizard spell before. Hey, Tractane, how's it going? Pick only the yellow abilities. Okay, well, that's sound logic, I think. Thanks for tuning in, man. So tough choices, and we can even pick some of these older abilities too. Resolute Inspiration. This is another change where there's like different kinds of inspiration in this game instead of it was like different stats in the first game. So they've kind of streamlined that as well. I really like Pillar of Faith in the first game, because it calls down this giant pillar and knocks people down. Alright, man, blind man, have a good sleep. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And if you do pick up this game, let me know, because I'm interested to hear what you think. Especially since you've played Divinity already. So, yeah, have a good one. I'll probably be playing this game again on Wednesday night, if you want to tune in. Pillar of Faith I really like. I used Iconic Projection a lot in the early game of the first game too. I don't think I want Spiritual Weapon. Seals are kind of fun, but I don't really like traps in the first game. Fit Inspiration. Yeah, so here's another form of that. Plus 5 Constitution. Let's go for Pillar of Faith. We already have a heal ability, though. So this does freeze damage now? I don't think it did freeze in the first game. I could be wrong, though. Weird. Because it slows them down? Or does it? Slow moving, energetic projection. I think we'll do two-handed, because I like two-handed. Plus 15% damage with two-handed weapons. That's what we're currently using. So we'll do that. Looks good. Got 2 more characters to level up here. Adair. This is where the min-maxing comes in. Explosives, mechanics. Probably do mechanics again. He'll just be our mechanics guy. And we should put more stealth points into other characters too. This is more like Divinity Original Sin 2, where you get very few points every level. And in the beginning of Original Sin 2, I really screwed myself over by putting points into the wrong stats, and that kind of feels similar. So I'm a little stressed out about what to pick, but I mean, it seems like we're doing okay so far. Diplomacy, bluff, survival. Streetwise is really good. Metaphysics, intimidate. We'll do streetwise. And then He has less abilities, which is nice. Confident aim. Converts 30% of grazes to hits. One-handed. Determination. Plus 20 to all defenses. That's good. Against intellect, affliction, perception, and constitution. So these are more changes to stats. They're like, it's pretty similar. They just streamlined it a little bit. Probably do weapon and shield style for a dare, because that's what I did in the first game. Dual wielding, two-handed. Into the fray I really like. And fighter stances. Trains in the ability to adopt specialized stances. So let's check out our stances. Guardian stance, mob stance, conqueror stance. This was in the first game. I don't know if these other two were in the first game. Single combatant. That's cool. While in the stance, fighter's kills with a melee weapon will trigger an instant AoE weapon attack on all enemies around the fighter. So if we take fighter stances now, we don't unlock them until level 5. So we're not going to take those yet. We'll take this at level 4. So yeah, we can. I like that we can see this entire tree though, because in the first game we couldn't really plan this out without looking at a wiki or something. And it didn't really have this kind of like build. It didn't really imply that the fact that you're unlocking things like in an MMO or something. Like this is very much like a WoW-inspired ability tree. So we're not going to take this yet, because it's worthless. I really like Into the Fray, though. This is upgraded? Oh, these are upgraded forms of the stances. So we get all these stances off the bat. Is that true? I think we get all these stances off the bat, and then we get upgraded forms later on if we want. Okay. So that's good. I like Into the Fray. One-handed. Or should we do the shield, weapon and shield style? Plus 6 shield deflection. We could just take both of these, because they're really good. I think we want stances. At least. Pull and dazed. It's another like kind of crowd control move. Let's do that. They're both good. And Jody with her cool hat. Alchemy, Arcana, +2 party. We could give her some stealth. Since she's the monk, she needs stealth for sure. Or stealth would help her out more. Diplomacy, history, insight, intimidate. You could do metaphysics, religion, streetwise. I think I want to go for a religion. Yeah. Since we already have a team of like... Everybody in the party currently follows Eothas or an aspect of Eothas because Jody follows Gon. So like we are kind of building a religious cult type party right now, which is funny. I didn't really think of that before, but yeah, everybody in the party worships Eothas pretty much. Force of Anguish. This is the same ability from the first game. Dance of Death. Monks like to use their fists pretty much, so we're probably not going to go two-handed or one-handed. Long stride. 2-weapon style. We could do 2-weapon. I don't think I'm going to pick any of these styles currently for the monk, though. Gains wounds. Monks use wounds to use special abilities, so that's why they wound themselves here. Suffering any damage ends this effect. That's interesting. Huh. What is mortification? Some monk abilities require and consume mortification on use. Outside of combat, a monk's mortification is restored, ready to be used in the next encounter. So this is like focus for ciphers in the first game. I don't think they had mortification in the first game. I think they only had wounds. So that now they have two different stats you have to worry about that are unique to monks. That sounds cool though. I mean, it's kind of like an all or nothing type effect. Reducing the duration of incoming and existing hostile effects. Yes, that is good. So we don't want to get CC'd too often. We don't need weapons, lesser wounds. Okay. Cool. I like how we're carrying around some light sources too. It doesn't even... That's not even an item? Or is it? Yeah, it's an item. Jodi's lantern. What's it do? Deflection... So it's like, acts like a shield, +1 enemies engaged. Holy Radiance, all restoration power levels, all inspiration power levels. Soulkeeper, +1 of each monk resource per kill. So she gets mortification and wounds. She gets... Is that correct? Each monk resource. That sounds like it. So after she kills someone, she gets wounds and more mortification. Contains a mantle of Audra at its core in her service to Gon. Jodi has worked tirelessly to collect souls within the mantle so they can be safeguarded until Eothas returns to Hell once more to oversee the process of death and rebirth. The lantern is well constructed and quite durable. Jodi wields it in the manner of a small shield and it offers reasonable protection. That's a really cool item. And her hatchet has +5% sickle damage until combat end on scoring kill. So yeah, she's all about getting kills. We can do enchantments just like in the first game. We don't have a lot of crafting materials right at the moment. But yeah, she's a really cool character to build, I think. This will be fun.
Yeah, well, don't see why not.
And I'm assuming she would have started with different items if we had chosen priest instead of monk. Or if we had dual classed. But, man, we spent a lot of time in this building because I've been talking through the levels, and, yeah, I like the hat, too. Her default is like a hood, but I picked up that hat and I was like, we have to give that to somebody, and my character can't wear it because I'm godlike, so we have to give the hat to Jodi. And Adair already has a pirate hat that comes with an eye patch, and this is this item you get from purchasing one of the versions of the collector's edition, I believe. And I bought the Obsidian edition, which is like the highest tier that you could buy. So we have some extra stuff. So we have to head west, is what she said, to get to Maje, to get to... Where were we going again? Gareki Street. Let's go to Gareki Street first. Glad it's getting used and not sitting in a bag of holding somewhere. That's a good one. Our stash basically is bag of holding in this game because it can hold an infinite amount of items. Whoa, okay, so we have this map too. Okay. Wow. You can use the port shop and resupply your ship. That's very useful. Oh, so we can just buy ship items from anywhere on the map. It's talking about crafting, unique items. Okay. I like that. So we don't have to go somewhere. So I didn't think that there was gonna be this separate hand-drawn map as well. But I like this. So we can choose how we leave town. We can only choose on foot right now, but if we had our ship, we could choose by sea, I imagine, and like sail around this way too. Wow. And this is a big city already. Port Maje, 3,200 people, religions, they worship Andra, Wodoka, and Eothas. Wodoka is... I'm surprised they worship Wodoka here, because Wodoka is not a good person. You can see all the imports. Wow. You know, I had heard someone say that there's a lot of, like, Sid Meier's Pirates DNA in this game, and I haven't played or seen much of Sid Meier's Pirates, but now I kind of want to check it out, because it seems like there's a lot more simulation aspects in this game than I thought. And certainly then in the first game, where it was pretty much just a straight-up Baldur's Gate, not clone, but like a version of Baldur's Gate in a different setting, a different universe with different, like a slightly different D&D type system. But this is going well and beyond that game and adding all these extra layers. Mostly Almaua, Ocean Folk, just in Port Maje. We haven't really seen a lot of Almaua, except for the first one at the beginning. So let's go to Gareki Street. 1 hour and 9 minutes. There we go, just like in the first game, drawing our line, of course. So there's a lot of maps in this game. Relatively. We've got our like section map, and then we've got our main world map where we actually go around and sail and walk around and stuff on the continent. In like the larger world. So you make your way through the side streets of Port Maje, you come upon visible traces of the storm's passing. And I love this art that they have. And I like these backgrounds too. Many of the houses here boast cracked window panes and sagging awnings, and you pass narrow streets strewn with foliage and debris. The cobblestones beneath your feet are still slick with water and silt. Before long, you are ankle deep in sucking mud and loose stones, and we can hear that in the sound effects. The flooding only worsens up ahead where the water level rises to the knees. Most of Port Maje's residents have fled to this region for dry land. But the murmur of raised voices ahead and the occasional splash suggest that you are not entirely alone. Of course. So this area is all flooded. Archipelago.
Real quiet.
Try and sneak through here. You can see a ghost. Oh, we can actually pickpocket in this game. We could not pickpocket in the first game. That is surprising. I believe... Yeah, there was, like, no pickpocketing. Wow.
Something must be wrong with my vision. No matter how much I blink, I cannot make out more than blurry lights in the darkness. You are quite blinding.
I'm sorry, but you're dead. Come with me, I'll help you. So this is kind of like, as we've been going through, we've been finding these ghosts because I'm a watcher. I can see spirits and souls as they're moving around, and we've been collecting these people, presumably because Eothas can't right now because he's inside a giant statue. So I'm assuming this is going to be part of the end game, like depending on like how many souls we've collected and what we've done with them is going to be like play majorly into the main quest. What's the last thing you remember?
Pain. I came to help one of the traders gather her belongings. Then other men came. They struck me over and over. Is that why I cannot see?
Yeah, come with me.
Dead? Oh, but this is terrible.
Let me ease this one's pain, Watcher.
Oh. I like her lantern light casting this kind of purplish glow here. Dark Eye Solemn Jody circles her lantern around the departed soul. She's not really facing the right way, but okay. Restoring order. Oh shit, we got attacked. Well, we gotta fight some looters. Body blows. Not gonna turn that on. Grant a power level boost. We have some spells we can use. Let's do Pillar of Faith on these guys. We'll have Adair fight these people. Into the fray. Jody can just hit people. What is this? Activate Swift Strikes. Did I use them all already? Oh, I think I used it. Whoops. Whoa, that was a lot of damage. Okay, we found a hidden object. Oh yeah, here it is in the bucket. So I'm playing on Veteran. And this might be a bad choice. Because we're moving very slowly in the water. need to fight these ranged attackers. This guy's flanked. But maybe we'll be okay. Adair. Yeah, he can kill that person. No problem. Yeah. This guy has a gun. Okay. So let's kill this guy quickly. So I think we used up all our... Oh, so this is our monk power pool for mortifications. We used up all our swift strikes. So we need to build up more of those. But after Jody kills this person, she should get a mortification and a wound because of her lantern. I think is how that works. I'm just gonna have Selena go fight this guy. But since we're in the water, we're walking very slowly. So this is already kind of a tough encounter for like the third encounter in the game. I find that playing a higher difficulty justifies the epic music in games like this. Yeah, seriously, like this feels a lot more tense than I think it would if we were playing on story mode or whatever. Temporarily frightening them. We can do that. We have to get close though. Like I missed. That was nice. Jody seems really good though.
That would be enough.
Not even close.
Okay, use our Watcher ability. And then... now let's just kill him. We can use our Empowers whenever. Power a spell. So we could get back our mortifications, maybe? Oh no, this gets back... oh, so, or we can empower a spell. I don't know if we want to use that. Could we not do this? How do we exit out of that? Oh, okay. Still getting used to this. Like, slightly new interface. Discipline Barrage. Let's do that.
Not sure I can.
She... oh, she can't move around. It's like, why is Jody not attacking? That guy just got a lot of health back. Think we're doing okay? Should probably flank this guy. Combat in this game is like a little bit slower paced than it was in the first game. Did I get just teleport? What was that? That was nuts. It seems like the AI is generally smarter too. Let's do this. Yeah, this guy's teleporting all over the place. Oh, I missed. But we killed that guy. He's a magic looter. Oh, we did it. Okay. So yeah, the combat in this game is a little more deliberate, but it seems like your moves and your choices actually matter more. It's not just so much of like watching them like roll the dice over and over. It's like from moment to moment it seems like a little more strategic. So we got an arquebus, some hardtack. We got a lot of items actually. So far so good. Take all the stuff. Save. Slog zone. We can't run here. So in the first game, after you took like a significant amount of like endurance damage, then your max health would go down, and that would go down slowly until you finally died, and then you could or become unconscious. Then you could wake up from being knocked down, and there was more like tiers, or like your characters could keep fighting, but they would have like less max health as you went on. And in this game, they've streamlined that a little bit. I think how it works now is that you can get knocked down 4 times per rest, and then on the 5th time your character's just dead.
What can I do? I'd be glad to.
I'm not exactly sure though. So maybe it's in our encyclopedia actually. Mechanics, death. If a character has 3 injuries and will receive another, they are killed outright and cannot be brought back. Yeah. And injuries are long-term afflictions. They last until the character rests and consumes food. Injuries are typically gained through scripted interactions or by being knocked out in combat. If a character has 3 interactions and would receive another, they are killed. Yeah, so you can be knocked out 3 times, and then on the 4th time, then you're just dead. So it's a little bit more streamlined than the first game, and it's actually it's about as forgiving as like the first game, because usually I don't think you can get up more than 3 times. Protective Eothasian Charm. Perceptive, 1 perception ability activates when near death. Grants darkest before dawn. Grants health over time and reduces incoming damage when the wearer is near death, so that's very good. We're gonna put that on Selena probably. Mother of Pearl. Yeah, let's do that.
Isn't that lovely?
So I'm glad we found
Yes,
that. Oh, there's some
absolutely.
bodies here too. And we still can't walk very well in this flooded area. But I like that these enemies had an advantage on us too, because they were ranged and they were on the high ground, which means, or they were on the dry land, so they could move around a lot more easily than us. And this guy that was in the water, who seemed kind of like he sucked because he was in the water, he could actually teleport around and do spells and stuff. So that was a neat little encounter that seemed like very designed, right? It's not just like 4 kobolds. It's actually like 4 dudes that have different abilities in different areas, where the level design actually came into play, because we had to account for the water, the high ground, this guy teleporting around. Feels like a much smarter encounter than we normally would see in Pillars.
Certainly.
And even in the style of game, it's more like a Divinity style encounter than it is a Pillars or Baldur's Gate, I would say. So, and I'm sure Obsidian is taking a lot of cues from Larian with this game. I'm sure they were deeply influenced by Divinity, because Divinity blew up when it came out. Even more so than the first Pillars game.
Nothing but endless grey mist. This is not the afterlife I was promised.
My friend here is a Harvester of Gone. She'll help you find your way.
Right. You'd best follow me then.
So yeah, Jodie is really serving as this guide for these spirits that we're finding. So it's good to have her in the party. One of your companions wants to talk. Oh, okay, yeah. So just like in the last game, when this symbol appears over our character portrait, we can.
Gotta wait
wanna
in
talk
my
to us.
lantern now. Almost feel like I can hear the soul when I jostle it around.
She's like a ghostbuster. She traps these souls in this object. How are you feeling? Have you suffered any recent nightmares?
I did, recently with you. You were walking the depths of the ocean, but you didn't drown. And in your hand, you gripped the key to Aora's end. I've seen stars wreathing a statue's brow, and souls flowing like tears over gleaming Audra. And then my god headed into the heart of the storm, where he could find the darkness. Tell me what's on your mind?
What are your thoughts on Eothas?
We talking during the Saints' War, or after he died?
And Adair actually fought in the Saints' War. Began as a peasant revolt in Raid Ceres led by a farmer named Wydwin. And Wydwin became a god. Wydwin, who claimed to be the living vessel of the god Eothas. After overthrowing the Raid Ceres government, Wydwin invaded the neighboring Deerwood, where he was defeated, destroyed by a weapon dubbed the Godhammer Bomb. Eothas has not been heard of from since, and the Godhammer Bomb was developed in part by another character, NPC named Durance, who is not in this game, but maybe will be referenced more later on and might be in one of the DLCs. I hope they bring back all the original characters in the DLCs at least, because it's a little disappointing that there's only 3 of the original characters in this game. But of course they want to bring in new characters for this new setting, and they only have so much time to put people in here, so hard to fault them for that. Especially this being in a new engine, or a new version of the engine anyway. If it was just a direct translation from the Pillars of Eternity engine to this game, and there were no changes, it probably would have been a lot easier. But obviously they wanted to make a lot of changes and make things better. So it's not the same as going from Baldur's Gate 1 to Baldur's Gate 2, where they're essentially the same thing. What's the difference, system-wise? What's the difference? Tell me about him. Yeah, I kind of missed the fact that we can't scroll back up through conversations to see what she said previously. I kind of missed that feature, so I hope they add that back in.
I really only know what my folks taught me. Eothas embodied Saint Wydwin, But during the war, he got blown to bits. That's the thing about human bodies.
Yep.
Eventually, they all gotta die.
Even God's gotta die in this game.
As the god of rebirth, of course, Eothas would be coming back. But where I differ from my family's view, and my High Priestess's view, is that I've studied the apotheosis of Gone.
The apotheosis of Gone.
And I know all about the backside, the downward swoop, the death part of the cycle of life. Abscission, rot, regrowth.
I don't know what that word means, so I'm gonna look it up. Stand by. Google, help me. Abscission. Abscission means the natural detachment of parts of a plant, typically dead leaves and ripe fruit. Yeah, I've never heard that word before, so we learned a new word today. Good job. But that makes sense with rot and regrowth.
What's gone can never be
It's
again.
like in that cycle.
What comes back is changed. Always. Even if what comes back is a god.
And that's really what like Pillars is really about. Like on a grander scale, the themes of this series so far have been heavily influenced by life and death cycle and the idea that of reincarnation and souls moving on from one life to the next, and time being a wheel and all this very cyclical symbolism. What's gone can never be again. What comes back is changed always, even if what comes back is a god. What's your take on Eothas following the Saints' War?
Then you mean gone. Sure, maybe my god still answers to Eothas as well. Why not? But Eothas died, and death requires change. He ain't what he was. Not in exactly the same way. That's why I think his other aspect, his darkness in the light, is what's burning brighter in him now.
Okay. And again, Gone is the darker aspect of Eothas, which would maybe explain why he's gone rogue in his new form.
No need to fiddlefoot around. I'm listening. Reckon not. But I can't help but be a touch wayward.
I like that she swears a lot.
I don't take it too far. My ma caught me once necking in the Merkberry stalks. And of course I fight, but I've not done much more than that. And I don't use the real ugly words. Sometimes the feelings, they just come tumbling right out of me. Gods darn it.
Faint trace of a smile forms on Adair's lips. Seems like they're really hinting at a romance between these two, and that's one thing that wasn't that you weren't able to encourage in the first game was romance between characters. So I'm looking forward to see how that develops. And right from the get-go, it seemed like Adair and Jody were flirting a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. What are your thoughts on it?
We talking during the
we
Saints'
talked about
War
that.
or after he died?
What's the difference?
Well, before he died, he was still Eothas as the majority of my brethren know him. Eothas embodied a human. And when that human got blown to bits, we all believed Eothas died.
That makes sense that they would get along because they're both followers of Eothas in their own way.
And I think a part of him did. The part he'd most closely woven into living flesh. The part that represented life. And rebirth after death. Which means the part of him that could have survived, that stormed across the Deadfire seas, was the side more aligned with obsidian, rot, and falling away.
He goes with obsidian again.
That which is death.
We're using this symbol of plant life, rotting away, and regrowing to symbolize souls.
No need to fiddlefoot
gods
around.
and
I'm
religion.
glad we talked.
Which is not so often a symbol in Western cultural religions, right? But it plays a huge part in other religions. I don't know that much about Buddhism, but I think that's more about cycles. Whereas I was raised Catholic, and Catholicism is more about Jesus is going to come back someday, but we don't really know when. So until he comes back, you should be really good. That's basically how it works. Which is more, at least in my opinion, more about controlling people through fear rather than encouraging them to act a certain way because they'll be this is improving your immortal soul, at least I'm guessing, improving your immortal soul for the next life, when some of those memories and experiences and your subconscious personality will carry on with you and be part of you in whatever form you inhabit next. Which I think is a little bit more interesting. It's not something that I personally believe, but it's more interesting to explore and talk about in this game. And certainly ideas of Catholicism and controlling people through religion have been explored in this series to an extent in many, many other games, right? But for Pillars, it's more about this idea of cycles.
Not much cause to come out this way unless you're looking for trouble. Although you've found it.
Young Elf's hand drops to the pistol in his belt, palming the grip. The faintest hint of a sneer plays about his lips as he watches you, unblinking.
Merle, she must be desperate. Not so desperate as to come here, on her knees to beg for herself, but she sent you. No, there's my answer. I get my cut. There's no sense in ruining a good thing.
Help her out this once. We could pay him off.
A favor? Merle, I should buy her dinner.
This guy is kind of sleazy. Mid-chortle, Alari's brows draw together. He runs a thumb along his jaw, frowning.
Done. I'll do it.
Oh, nice.
Bon Piaco.
Bon
Can't be
Piaco.
too bad. Having a commander in your pocket.
I need to, like, write down all these phrases so I can use them in everyday life and people get really confused.
Tell Xavier this isn't permanent. Second the water clears up and things are back to normal, we're through. I'll spread the word. Gorechi Street is under
Gorechi Street.
Lawful protection now.
Lawful good protection. Nice. So, again, we got through a quest without having to fight. We did have to fight some looters when we came here, but it was an interesting encounter that was obviously set up to teach us some things about the environment. It kind of had a purpose, even though it wasn't like directly involved in the story. It told us that, hey, there are looters here because everything's flooded, which makes total sense. And even with the fast mode turned on, we're moving through very slowly. But there's nothing else to do here, right? Yeah, so this is a very small section. And our bird is even flying above the water because bird can't walk through the water, which I think is funny. Like, will it land anywhere? If we go up here, will it land? Yeah, that's really, wow, that's really detailed. I would not expect a game like this to be that detailed. So the bird can't walk through the water, so it has to fly. But when we're on the land, it'll actually land. Wow. That is a really impressive detail to me. It's very small, but okay. So we can go back. Oh, we get to pick where we want to go. So this is a big improvement. So it actually lists all the locations in the map. Shows us where they are on the map in detail, because we can actually tell just by looking at the smaller version where these buildings are and what they are. And we actually get to pick where we go from the world map. Whereas this fixes a huge problem with these games, where you go to an area and you find yourself walking back and forth all the time, even though you know exactly where you want to go, and the travel time between is never interesting. You have to spend all this time walking back and forth. But this fixes that, because we can see on the world map every single little location, like a dungeon master. Wow. Yeah, it's very impressive. Where are we going? We're going back to the jail, right? Yeah. You know, we can only access that from the world map, but I think that alleviates a lot of the tedium of just playing this kind of
Keeping
game.
out of trouble? A little jest. What is it?
I convinced Alari to keep watch on Gorechi Street.
Perfetto. He's a little shitne, but a lazy one. He will not cause trouble if he does not have to. Easier to work with a familiar face for the moment. I can deal with him later. So, we have one small part of Port Maje under control. A good start.
A good start.
Well, here you are, for your time. If I had 10 women like you, the whole of Port Maje would be set right within the week.
Again, we got a ton of money for doing this quest. Sweet. How close are we to level 4 now? Before we used to have an experience bar. Which I'm looking for. Summary? Yeah, it's in the summary. Okay. Oh, and this is new too. So we have this reputations type circle that looks kind of like Final Fantasy-esque, where we can see all the influence that we have on these different factions, as well as our NPC companions, these different locations. Like, you kind of got a sense of that in the first game, and you had different scores, but you couldn't see it in this kind of visual layout, so I really like this. And you can even see where these NPCs fall on the spectrum. I'm assuming that that's kind of how they're laid out anyway. Disfavored by Eothas. Very cool. We have a lot of money again. So these rewards are substantial, even though we didn't choose to fight. Okay, so that's another quest down. Man, I'm really enjoying this game so far. I'm really impressed. Burning bridges. So we did restoring order. Burning bridges was we have to find Maje. So we could go to that village now. I think we're gonna do that before we find the dig site. Yeah, let's do that first. We have a lot to do on this beginning island too, even before we get our ship. So this is just kind of just teaching us the ropes of exploration and how, like, the typical parts of this genre of this game work before we enter more of the ship stuff. Satahuzi. And can we get to the main map from here? We can see our ship. Several jobs on the ship the crew needs to fill while sailing. Every ship needs deckhands, cannoneers, and a helmsman, and all ships benefit from having a cook, surgeon, and navigator. Larger ships even require a boatswain to keep the deckhands in order. Wow, there's a lot of stuff about the ship. You must be in the port to put a sailor in the ship. I like this video tutorial. They didn't have these like screenshots and videos in the first game. This is probably just a GIF. But known sailors. Note that each sailor has different talents. Not all sailors will be well suited for a given job. This is very much like FTL. Ship UI. Crew consumes both food and drink while adventuring. The type of food and drink you feed them will adjust their morale. More expensive provisions will make them happier. Cheap food and drink will lower their morale over time. I'm wondering how punishing this system is. It seems like we have to spend quite a lot of money on supplies. There are several jobs on the ship. The captain determines how likely the ship is to gain advantage. First move and other bonuses in ship-to-ship combat. So how good our captain is determines how well we do at the beginning. Like our initiative roll, sort of. Half sail, the ship moves at a half its top combat speed in a single action while receiving a marginal defense bonus against incoming cannon fire. Ship may only move at its top speed once per round. So the way the combat works, other than setting up your ship like FTL style, is it goes through all these text options. And I'm wondering if they're going to replace that system with something a little bit more visual later on. Because I think that's kind of been criticized as one of the weaker aspects of the game. Deckhands are required to perform any maneuvers in ship-to-ship combat. If a ship does not have enough deckhands, it will move more slowly on the world map. Oh, so if we get more deckhands, we can move faster in combat as well as on the world map, it seems like. Boatswain counts as a deckhand, but is more important for their ability to accelerate the completion of special events, such as putting out Deadfire on the ship by coordinating their actions. And our ship kind of acts like our stronghold did in the first game, where we were building these upgrades and recruiting people, and we had a prison, and we had our own shop, and we had our own quests, and we could send people on quests from the stronghold. But this is much more interesting because it's mobile. Right now we have a Deerwooden sloop, the Defiant, which I like. It's kind of a callback to Defiance Bay. And I'm assuming we can get other ships later on, because we can set active ship. We have sail health, hull health, combat rounds. Man, this is really deep. Triumphs. Jibe. We have all these different like ship terms as well, so I'm sure they had to do a ton of research for this. Helmsman is required for turning in jibe actions in ship-to-ship combat. I'd like to know what resources they actually checked out to write all this stuff, actually. This would be super interesting to look into. Cannons cannot fire without a cannoneer assigned to them. The more experienced the cannoneer, the more accurate their fire. supply, food, +1. So different people have different bonuses. 2 jobs have no combat rolls, but may be called upon to resolve ship events. The navigator increases speed on the world map, and the cook reduces food consumption while traveling. So we have to make a lot of smart decisions about how we move on the world map, where we go, how we fight. Luckily, we don't have to do any of that yet, because our ship is still kaput. But what I wanted to do is get to the main map. I don't know if we can do that anymore. Huh. Oh, we can leave? Is that what it means by leave town? So it would take us... Yeah, I think if we left town, it would take us back to the world map. Is that true? Yes. So now we see a transition. Is it going to take us to the wilderness or the main map? We have all these loading screens. The loading screens are still kind of long. It's about as bad as the first game. But there's a lot to load, you know? Yeah, so this is the main map. And it's a little weird that there's 2 world maps essentially, but I really like that we can see ships moving by because it kind of hints at a larger world. This cloud effect is really nice with the fog of war. If we hit Port Maje again, we go back here. So now we can go to a different area, and Satahuzi is included in the Port Maje map. So let's go there. So that's what that means. I assume that maybe we could like sail to that other section of the map, but really that just means get in your boat and go to the world map. There's like, we have a world map and we have like a region map, and they look different. But I kind of like that because it makes a lot of sense to alleviate some of the tedious parts of playing this kind of game, especially in this if you're going to include a different way of traveling, like the ship, and make that really important. So, can we steal this? I think we can steal this. Yeah. Yeah.
What
nice.
can I do you for? All right.
Indeed.
Spire sponge. She's not looking this way, but it did say that we were spotted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we wait until these indicators go away, let me pick this up. I don't think it counts as stealing. Monsters of the Archipelago. I mean, it still counts as stealing, but I don't think she's going to catch us.
All right.
Yeah. Nice.
Happy to oblige.
So it's definitely a lot easier to steal things in this game, and the system makes more sense. Like, it's a little more nuanced than just, like, can they see you or can they not? It's more like, depends on what direction they're facing and how big their radius is, and you have to be patient. In the first game, it's like some people would patrol around the area, but you could, still in this game, you could shut a door to steal something as long as there's no one else in the room. You had to get a little bit lucky.
Amura's winds blow sweet upon you.
Let's see what she's got to pickpocket. Cannot pickpocket while being observed. Okay. But if we move out of her line of sight... Can she still see us? I guess she can still see us? Yeah. So this is kind of misleading here, because we were still being
Happy
seen
to sure thing.
here, but really her line of sight, it says her line of sight is going right directly in front of her, but really it's like encompassing this area. So I'm not really sure how that's supposed to work. So maybe if we go directly in front of her, she'll just see us immediately? Yeah. So here you have no time, and in her periphery you have a little bit of time. and then you can still be behind her.
Happy to oblige.
So yeah, that's pretty nuanced. I wish there was like another visual indicator about her peripheral vision as well. Maybe it's just that this object was blocking. I don't know. Interesting. What was that? Is that lightning? I think it was lightning. Storm speakers will protect us.
Dimming the lantern.
Steal some stuff. Dimming the lantern. Ooh, cannons. +7 ammunition. Nice. Cannonballs, I should say. Cargo clothing. Guard helm. That looks cool.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Seems like things are a little bit more valuable in this game than in the first game, too. Oh, what time is it? It's about 9:45. My throat is getting a little hoarse, and we've done a lot already. So I think we're going to call the stream for tonight, but thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in and watching in the archives. If you tuned in, again, my portrait was made by Nikki Marjorie, who is at Nikki Chu on Twitter and Instagram, so you can check out her other stuff or get this portrait for yourselves. I think it's really awesome. Let's show that off again one more time before we quit. Yeah, I think it's really cool looking, and it was actually really easy to get into the game. You just change the file name to match what the file names of the other portraits are, and then you just change the letter in the middle from like an A or a B to a C, and you can, I'm assuming you can add as many portraits you want in that way, just going up the alphabet. And I don't know how it works after that, but if you're adding like that many portraits, then man, you're really dedicated. So yeah, and that was awesome. So thanks to Nikki for that. And I will be back on Wednesday night for sure to stream again. And until then, you guys can follow me on here and subscribe to me on YouTube. Maybe I'll upload some of this stuff to YouTube because I think this is more interesting to talk through for this new game for sure. And you can follow me on Twitch. So always follow me on Twitter at NCBurnham, and I'll be tweeting about all this stuff.
What can I do you for?
For sure. So have a good rest of your night, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.